Using the date and time in Python tutorial part 2. In this part, we look at how we can find the date and display it in some common formats. Okay, so let's get started. Just like in the previous tutorial, we needed to import the datetime module, and we need to get the datetime now by doing now equals datetime.datetime.now. And that's got us the datetime object, and then all we need to do is we need to display it in each of the formats that we want to display it in. So let's start on the first one. We'll just do format 1. So the first one, date 1, and what we do is we get the now, the datetime object, the now, and we do the string format time. There we go. And all we need to do is give it a little template to say how we want it formatting. So, and we use the %time for each bit. So for this one, we got day, month, long year. So what we do here is we do the day, dash, and then we do the month, dash, and then we do the year. But we make sure that the year has a capital Y so that it displays the full year. So there we go. So now if we do D1, you can see 30th of January 2020. Brilliant. Perfect. So that's the first one. Let's move on to the second one. Quite similar to the first one. So D2, same sort of thing. And this time, instead of putting the day first, we just switch it around and put the month first. So, oops, month, then day, and then the pound sign, and then the big year. There we go. And there you go. So that's switched it round. I made a slight mistake there because this time we want forward slashes instead of the dashes. So all we need to do is just amend, instead of the, get rid of the forward slashes, get rid of the dash and replace them with forward slashes, just like that. And there you go. Now it's displayed in the correct format. Good. So that's that one there. Let's move on to the next one, which is the displaying the date here in using the abbreviated version of the month. So similar to the previous ones. So we do now d3 equals now dot strip f time. And this one, what we do is we say, okay, we're going to want the day, just like before, followed by a dash, and then a % sign. And this time we can use b, lowercase b, which means the abbreviated version of the month. And then, again, uppercase Y to show the full year. And there you go. Nice and simple, which is great. The fourth version here is pretty similar to the previous one. So what I'll do actually is I'll just press up and I'll just edit the previous one. So the fourth version, the day is going to be the same, but this time we don't want dashes, we're going to have a space bar. And then an uppercase B because we want the full month name and the full year. And now, there you go, 30 January 2020. Okay, brilliant. So those are the first four. And what we're going to do now is we're going to move on to the fifth one. But for the fifth one, what I'll do first is I will clear this screen because we're going to need a bit of space. So import os.system cls. There we go. Okay, so the fifth one here, December the 8th of June 1955. Sorry, December the 8th? Wednesday the 8th of June 1955. So this one here is a little bit more complicated. We need the day of the week, then we need to put the word the, then we need the number of the date, the day of the week, day of the month, and then we need the suffix here, like th or nd or st or rd, and then we need to put of, and then all the rest of it. So we're going to have to build this up. So let's get it. Let's get started. So day is, we're going to put day equals, let's get the day of the week, and let's do now dot str f time. And all we're going to do this is we're going to get the day of the week. So the day of the week is going to be the %sign A. So hopefully, there we go, Thursday. Good. So we're going to need the day of the week. So we've got the Thursday. We don't need to do this bit because we'll combine that next. Now we need the day number and suffix. So the number and suffix. So let's calculate the suffix first. How do we do that? Well, we need to write a quick function here because there isn't an inbuilt way of doing it. So we'll just call it suffix, and we're going to give it the letter D here. So there we go. That's the input parameter. And all we need to do here is to say, okay, so if the number that we give it is somewhere between 11 and 13, then we know it needs to return th. So return th. There you go. So 11th, 12th, 13th. So if it's that, then it's nice and simple. We return th. But what do we do otherwise? Well, we need to return something else depending on what kind of what date it is. It's a little bit more complicated. So we set ourselves up a little dictionary, and we say, okay, number 1, that maps to st. Number 2, that maps to nd. And number 3, that maps to rd. Okay, so we've got the 3 main options there. Brilliant. And then once we've got that there, what we do is we say, okay, let's work out which one we need. And we do that there. And what that will do now is it will work out the right one. You'll either return st, nd, rd, or if it's none of those 3, and it's none of those 3, it will return th. There we go. Brilliant, good. So let's just test that, make sure it works. Let's just try that with 10. So 10 should say 10th, yeah. Let's try it with 1, it should say first. 22 second. There you go. So it works fine. You give it a number and it gives the proper suffix. So we got that hard part done. Now all we need to do is combine it into one long string with all these bits here on the end. So full equals, and what do we need? Well, we need that day, which is first, and that's going to give us the day. Then we need to do a space bar, and we just do the, and then we need to get the number, which is the now.day, I think it is, isn't it? Yeah, so we can do now.day. And that will go and get the number of the day of the month. We have to convert it to a string because now.day gets us an integer, which is no good. So that would cause an error. Then we do another plus, and then we stick on the suffix after it. So suffix brackets now.day. There we go. And that will now stick the suffix on the end of it. Then we do the another plus. Then we add another space bar of. There we go, of, and then finally we add the last bit, which is the full month followed by the full year. So again, what we can do now is we can use this string f time, and then we just give it the formatting that we want. So what do we need to do? We need to do the full month, which is a %b. That's going to be the full month. And space bar, and then we're going to do the full year, which is an uppercase Y there, a capital Y. So now, hopefully, if we do full, there you go, Thursday the 30th of January 2020. There you go, brilliant. So that was a little bit longer there, a little bit more complicated, but actually it's not too hard. I will put the this full code, a link to the full code in the comments if you need it anyway, if you can't remember it, including this little function here as well. Okay, that's part 2 of the tutorial.